Chapter 11. Location: Taylor's house in Woodland Park, Colorado. Nimbus had no trouble finding Taylor's house. It was located on 40 acres with two small lakes, about 15 minutes due west of Woodland Park, Colorado. Once again, Michael had given good directions. Nimbus floated over the smaller lake and saw Taylor sitting on the bank fishing. She seemed happy enough. He hovered to the left of her head, trying not to be noticed, but she looked up anyway. "Hey, Cloud, can you come closer and give me some shade?" Taylor asked, looking directly at him, shielding her eyes from the sun. Startled, Nimbus sucked in his breath and started to build. Sure, okay," he said. Taylor jerked. "No way! It's a talking cloud!" She set down the fishing pole and stood up. "And you really do look like an umbrella." "Thank you. I'm here to help," Nimbus said, all cute and happy. He couldn't believe Taylor was talking to him so freely. He drifted closer and blocked the sun. "My name is Cumulonimbus III, but you can call me Nimbus. What's your name?" Taylor hesitated, still skeptical. "Taylor Wing Brown the First, but you can call me Taylor." They both stared at each other. Then Taylor asked, "Why are you talking to me?" "Well, you asked for an angel, but because your request isn't death-related, they sent me. I'm an angel's aide in training for soon to be an angel associate." "Wait a minute. You are here for me?" "Yes, I am." "It's because I do seances in my closet, right?" Taylor sat back down hard and picked up a can of worms. "I knew the other side was listening. I just knew it." Actually, I'm here about your problem with reading. I believe that's why you called on us. I mean the angels, right?" "Well, I really asked for a puppy, but that didn't happen," Taylor scoffed. She stood up and reeled in her fishing line with an empty hook dangling from its end. "Fish aren't biting either, just stealing the bait." She grabbed the empty hook carefully and pulled it down and hooked it to the cork handle, giving the pole a slight bend. Nimbus watched with fascination. "You sure know a lot about fishing," he said. "Been fishing with my dad my whole life," she replied, putting the can of worms back in her tackle box and snapping the latch. She looked up at Nimbus and studied him for a moment. "How can you help me learn how to read? You're just a cloud." "Clouds can read," Nimbus said. "I went to Thunderhead School and then Rainbow Academy after that." "I can't believe that clouds have to go to school," Taylor said, picking up her fishing net and tackle box. "All cumulus have to go to Thunder School." "What's a cumulus?" "It's the kind of cloud I am," Nimbus said, puffing up. "We are a big family, and all cumulonimbus clouds like me are the largest and most powerful. We have big responsibilities, you know, like watering crops, filling up lakes and reservoirs, and doing other important things like that. If cumulus clouds don't go to Thunder School to learn properly, they end up out of control, flooding cities or turning into tornadoes and hurricanes and doing bad things. My dad wants me to work with him someday." "Then why are you an angel's aide?" Taylor asked, walking towards her house, making sure that her fishing pole tip didn't catch at the lower branches. "It's a long story," Nimbus said, following her. "I finished rainbow school and was really good at rainbows, but—" Then he paused. "I didn't do so good in Thunderhead School. It wasn't my deal." "No school is my deal. In fact, my parents are thinking of homeschooling me now." Taylor thought for a minute. "Hey, do you want to be my friend and come up and see my room?" "Sure," Nimbus said. He couldn't believe that she had warmed up to him so fast. Taylor pointed to the third window over from the left on the second floor. "See that window up there with that giant spider sticker on it?" "Yeah," Nimbus replied. "That's my room. Can you float over to it? I'll go up and open the window." "Okay." Taylor dropped her fishing gear at the front door and darted in and up the stairs so fast she didn't even notice if her parents were still in the kitchen discussing her future. She rushed into her bedroom, leaped over her rollerblades, kicked through a pile of dirty clothes, and sidestepped an overturned toy chest crammed full of Beanie Babies and unfinished Lego projects. Then she opened the window. "Are you there?" she called out, stretching out and looking up. "Right here," Nimbus announced as he lowered in front of Taylor. "Well, come on in." Taylor stepped aside, and Nimbus floated in through her open window, but within minutes he started to feel strange. He hadn't felt that way when he was inside with Esmeralda. Maybe it was the higher altitude. "I think I'm starting to dissipate, Taylor." Taylor could see that Nimbus was getting transparent and a little smaller. "Yes, you're starting to disappear." "Oh, I don't feel so good. It's too hot and the ceiling is too low. I better get back outside." "No, wait," she insisted. Taylor wasn't ready to lose her new best friend so soon. "What will make you feel better?" "Moisture and cooler air," Nimbus said faintly, floating towards the window. Frantically, Taylor looked around her room, then spotted the life cycle of a cloud diagram she had tacked onto her bulletin board from science class. She loved pictures that explained things. "Look at this," she persisted as she went to the board and unpinned the picture. She showed it to Nimbus, who was hovering at the window. "See?" Taylor said. She followed the red arrow with her finger from the cloud in the sky to the mountains. "The cloud rains on the mountains, and then the water rolls into the river, then out to the ocean. That's what's happening to you." Taylor's finger followed the last of the red arrow. "I don't want to go to the ocean. I just want to go outside." "Yeah, but wait. To get you back to a real cloud, you have to be this blue arrow. See?" Taylor insisted, tracing the blue arrow from the ocean back to the sky. "That's called evaporation, Taylor, and that's what I'm doing right now," Nimbus said weakly. "I'm becoming a vapor, and unless I get some cold water particles fast, I won't be able to condense back into water droplets, which is the only way I can stay a cloud." Nimbus started to wheeze. "In other words, I am about to vanish. Gonzo, poof, kaputski. No more me, get the picture?" Taylor closed her eyes and chanted some mumbo-jumbo words to Nimbus and then said, "Send me an answer, now!" Suddenly she got an idea. "My shower!" "Okay, there are cold water droplets in there," she exclaimed. "Come on, quick, follow me." Nimbus followed in a fine, misty trail as they left her bedroom and slipped into the bathroom down the hall. Taylor waited until all of Nimbus was inside before shutting and locking the door. Pulling the shower curtain closed, she turned the cold water full force and pulled up the button on the faucet. Nimbus was just a shadow of his former self. It had been a hot day and her bathroom was sweltering, so the air got cooler. A gentle mist started drifting up towards the ceiling, mixing with Nimbus as he hovered in semi-consciousness. He took a deep breath. "Ah, that feels so much better," he said, sighing and breathing deeply. He began to get whiter and larger. Then he heard a loud knock at the door. "Taylor, are you taking a shower?" Taylor's mother, Bonnie, asked. Taylor sucked in her breath and put her fingers to her lips to warn Nimbus. Yeah, Mom, I'm very dirty from fishing." "Well, all right then. But don't get any water on the floor and come downstairs when you're finished. Your father and I want to talk to you." Okay. And wash your hair." Okay, I will. And don't forget to use cream rinse for those tangles. Maybe I should come in and help you." That's okay, Mom. I can do it." "All right, then." Listening at the door for the sound of her mother's footsteps to disappear down the hall, Taylor pulled off her Mountain Freedom baseball cap and stuck her head under the cold water coming from the shower. "Brr," she said with a shiver, and grabbed for a bottle of shampoo at the edge of the tub. She rubbed a large amount in, scrubbed and rinsed fast, then felt for the towel behind her. "Your mom didn't sound very happy with you," Nimbus said, watching Taylor from overhead. "Oh, she's mad at me because I got bad grades in school again." She felt her hair and it was still soapy. Pushing down the button on the faucet, She stuck her head under the gushing water, then turned it off. Oh, do you still need the shower on? No, I'm okay for now, thanks. Nimbus floated out and stretched into his favorite shape, a baby bed mattress. He watched Taylor towel dry her hair. Why do you get bad grades? He asked. I don't know. I'm just a dummy, I guess. She rubbed her hair with the towel and dropped it on the floor. No, you're not. You know how to make moisture so I wouldn't dissipate. Nimbus, what was Thunder School like? Taylor asked, picking up her hairbrush. Horrible. I hated it, he exclaimed. Just the thought of that school made him coil back into a ball. Then he remembered his position as an angel's aide and quickly stretched back out, regaining his composure. Why did you hate it? Because every single cloud at school was bigger than me, and they all could thunder. Plus, I was the worst student in history of that school. They told you that? She asked, looking at her hair in the mirror. Trust me, it was obvious. Then I got suspended. Probably I'll be kicked out. Why? Oh, 'cause I got into trouble with some bad clouds. Their leader, Anvil, was a really scary dude. I'm probably going to get suspended too, Taylor said, pulling tangled pieces of hair out of her brush. My parents are not happy. He didn't tell me you were going to get suspended. What happened? Who didn't tell you? Archangel Michael. Get out! You know the head archangel? Taylor let her arms drop. The brush was still dangling in her hair. She stared at Nimbus's reflection in the mirror. He's my boss, Nimbus said, starting to puff up. Wait, what? If you are here and he's your boss, oh no, I'm busted. Busted? No, I'm here because then he must know I cut my hair without permission, Taylor interrupted, grabbing her brush and working it free of the tangles. He knows everything, trust me, Nimbus said. Taylor looked in the mirror, then dropped her head and her chin rested on her chest. Oh, well, she sighed. Then she changed the subject. Why were you hanging around with that scary Anvil? Nimbus filled her in on the whole story while she worked on another clump of tangles. Then he asked, Taylor, isn't it because you can't read? I can read some of the stuff like my tarot cards. That's because they have pictures and I spend a lot of time memorizing them. But the school stuff? No way. I start to understand, and just when I get the short words, the teacher gives me longer ones. It just keeps getting harder and harder. I think I'll quit and run away and join one of those traveling carnival shows. And you know why? Because they have fortune tellers. I would be a great one of those. Maybe you should talk to your mom. She says she doesn't know what to do with me. Oh, what do you mean? She tried and told my dad that she just doesn't know what to do with me. Taylor was about to cry. And now, because of my bad report card, I'll probably have to go to summer school for dummies, or worse, be homeschooled. She stared at herself in the mirror. I already know the summer school teachers won't even know what to do with me either. Maybe I can help with your reading, Nimbus said sweetly. You can? How? I'm an angel aide, aren't I? Where's your faith? Suddenly the doorknob turned back and forth. What are you doing in there? Her mother demanded. Unlock this door, please. Taylor jerked and Nimbus shot up to the ceiling and spread out extra thin. Taylor! Okay. Taylor unlocked and opened the door, peering out at her mother. Hi, Mom, she said sweetly. Taylor Brown, your hair, her mother said, exasperated, pushing past her daughter. And there's water all over the floor. She put her foot on the towel on the floor and moved it back and forth. I'm sorry, Mom. I guess I forgot to use cream rinse and... Did you even get undressed? She asked. She pulled back the shower curtain, plugged the drain, and turned on the hot water. She grabbed Taylor and swiveled her from side to side, looking at her hair. I don't care what your father says about learning your lesson. I'm taking you to the hairdresser to get a decent haircut. Now hurry up and get those clothes off. Taylor pulled her gray, used-to-be-white T-shirt over her head. She looked up at Nimbus, who was trying to stay flat on the ceiling. But as the steam from the hot water mixed with his mass, he was growing fast. Fog filled the bathroom, and then suddenly Taylor's mom was jerking at the window to let the steam out. When it didn't open, she flipped on the vent fan. Instantly, Nimbus was sucked into the vent in the bathroom, then shot through the roof and out into the atmosphere. It all happened so fast. Taylor gasped. She looked out the window and saw Nimbus reforming into a cloud over the lower lake. "Come on, honey. A good scrubbing won't kill you." It had taken Nimbus a minute to realize what had happened and another minute for the scattered parts of his cloud to come back together. As he amassed, he noticed how good he felt. Not just because he was a cloud again, all clean and puffy, but because he wasn't worried anymore. Hovering above Taylor's house, he thought, "I know I can help her learn to read. I just know it." He let out a deep sigh and floated up to higher altitude to get a good night's rest.